Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Newell. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. Now, today's no different. Today, we're back to talk about the Erica Girardi story that was mentioned on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where her soon-to-be ex-husband, Tom Girardi, allegedly crashed his car off the side of a hill, was unconscious for hours, hurt his ankle. There's a lot. There's a lot that's being questioned, but it was just revealed that the Pasadena police have no record of any of this. This is what's being said.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
After it was shown on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills where Erica was telling Kyle that Tom Girardi drove off the side of a cliff. He was left unconscious for 12 hours and he hurt his ankle. It seems like the LA Times writer, Matt Hamilton, has actually confirmed that the Pasadena Police Department has no record of any of this. He said that I have asked the Pasadena Police Department about any crash in this vicinity during this time frame, and it was reported on TMZ and discussed that, well, they don't have any evidence of this crash. Now, Matt Hamilton and Harriet Ryan, they were the two writers who actually came out with the LA Times article that we're hearing so much about, that even Erica looked at Sutton and she's like, the LA Times article that you so thoroughly read. And Sutton looks at her and she goes, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, don't be sorry. But they were responsible for writing this article. What was it called? The Legal Titan and the Real Housewife, The Rise and the Fall of Tom Girardi and Erika Jayne. So it seems like they do their homework because they were one of the first to release all of this information in the first place. They also added that the many accounts of what happened to Tom Girardi, they are quote unquote confusing. Apparently, Matt admitted that there are so many different variations of this story about Tom Girardi driving off of a cliff, hurting his ankle, being unconscious, but only hurting his ankle. And he said, it's very confusing to me. Now, as for the other writer, Harriet, she explained on the podcast, Reality Life with Kate Casey, which we need to get in contact with her and see if we can't get her to join us on the show. But she also explained that she doesn't understand why the police weren't called, especially considering the seriousness of this crash, which is one of the biggest questions that we all have. Why would the police not be called? Nobody gets that part. They said that we've been trying to look for records on this for 6 months, 8 months, but the Tom loyalists will always tell you that he was supposedly found in his backyard or someone else's backyard. And they said that he would be found sitting on a lawn chair completely out of it. They added to that it's a very gripping story. And I mean, did no one think to call the police? Hello? I've said this before too. I'm not going to sit here and call anyone a liar because I wasn't there. However, if my significant other was in a car accident, flew off the side of a cliff, bet your ASS I would be calling the police, because if you're left unconscious for 12 hours, you hurt your ankle, who knows if you have a concussion? Do you have brain damage? Do you have bleeding of the brain? What is going on here? I would be the first person to call an ambulance. I would call the police and I would make a report. This is huge, especially if you crash your car. Like, wouldn't you want your insurance or someone to make sure that this was covered? What would those medical bills look like? I can see why they're confused. Now, after pointing out that there are certain laws in Los Angeles about reporting accidents to police, Matt, again, one of the LA Times writers, let us know that he suspected that Erica's story may have been fabricated in an effort to push the narrative that Tom Girardi's supposed mental decline was what led to his current legal scandal. Okay, it keeps going. Of course, there's more. I don't want to make of it except for the fact that, people like to bring this up as if it is this external event that led to Tom's downfall and not what the court records show, which is the simple fact that Tom has been accused of misappropriation and misconduct for years and years and years. Also adding, and I think it's harder to face if you have tethered yourself to this career, your career of Tom Girardi, this champion of justice. If you are Team Tom, it's very hard to extricate yourself. So that, to me, seems to be what's behind the car crash narrative. Now, on the show, again, when it comes to the red flags, we see where Erica is telling the women that he had this car crash and, you know, she was worried about him. Where was he? She's worried about his whereabouts. He had a hurt ankle, something, maybe it was a broken clavicle or something like that, and he was unconscious for hours. But the way she explained it on the show, it made it seem like she thought, okay, well, maybe he's with another woman. And then as soon as she said that, well, at least Sutton felt like it kind of came off like she was deflecting. Like she's like, this is happening over here, but look over here. So I'm going to distract you with this so you don't look at this. And Sutton's on it. Sutton's on it. Garcelle's on it. Crystal Kung Minkoff is a little bit on it. These women have made it known we just want to understand and we don't want to blindly support what's going on because these allegations are, one, atrocious, and two, massive allegations. This scandal is so huge. So they don't want to blindly support Erica or even have their support for Erica look like they are supporting what Tom Girardi allegedly did to these victims. I can see where they're coming from. Honestly, for Sutton Strack, she carried this week's episode. She was asking all of the hard questions, and it did come off a little uncomfortable, but Erica had a lot of answers for most of them. We don't necessarily know if they were the right answers, if they're truthful answers. We don't know. This will all play out in court. Right now, we're just watching a reality TV show. And Erica did also let Sutton know, I'm not going to answer all of your questions too. So she answered the ones that she wanted to answer, but we do have to remember too, she's talking to different legal teams, legal counsel. She has people telling her what she can and cannot say. One of the biggest revelations of this though was that Sutton is indirectly accusing Erica or questioning Erica about maybe the fact that she has been in cahoots talking with Tom Girardi's legal team, trying to come up with this narrative that at the end of the day may benefit Tom Girardi in these cases. Again, that hasn't been proven that she's done that either. Nothing's really been proven at this point, just that there have been funds that are misappropriated. This is something that we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. That's why I always watch Ronald Richards' Twitter, so I can see what documents come out, what's being said. And he honestly keeps us on our toes with his tweets. It is what it is. Guys, I'm curious, what do you think about Matt and Harriet, the LA Times writers, talking in this interview on the podcast? How do you feel about everything that they're saying and them questioning this narrative and also exposing the fact that the Pasadena police apparently have no records of any sort of car crash? And if there was a car crash, where is the car? Was the car just destroyed and then they took it to a junkyard? Was it destroyed? Was it sold? I don't know. So many questions to which I need so many answers. All right, if you haven't already, you know what to do. Go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.